Last time, I got shanked. And I found these guys on the side of the road, gave them a bone, knick-knack, paddywhack, and all that. This time we're gonna explore the surface because, I don't know, something about the underground isn't too forgiving. Which begs the question, why am I getting these apples if I'm just gonna be on the surface? Maybe looking for ruined portals as well. Last time I mentioned desert temples, but not in a desert. Ruined portals though can spawn wherever they want. I'm not sure what the rulings on that are, but anywhere they want, baby, they're their own free will. I certainly hope there is not a single thing within a video game that has literal free will. Not even my opponents in multiplayer games. I've played some League of Legends. If they have free will, there is something about those chat messages that just shouldn't be said. Well, mentioning about the desert, there's sand. Could just be a beach. Do see lots of water, which is normally not conducive of a desert. But that's a lot of sand, which isn't conducive of a beach. So now you don't know what to think. I don't mind sand. I know that a lot of people are deterred from going to places like the beach because they don't like sand. I'm deterred of going to the beach because I don't want to leave the house. No, I mean, no, I like the beach. Generally, I don't go because I don't have friends to go with. I mean, I got friends, they just don't want to go to the beach. They don't like sand or the ocean. I love swimming. Spent a lot of my childhood in the water to the point where my family would make jokes that I am part aquatic. Though in summer camp, I was part of a group known as the Aquatics. I meant part aquatic because they would say that I'm like a dolphin and stuff. Uh, at the summer camp I went to, I was an aquatic. We were the best. It was the best group in the entire summer camp. We had a mascot, and as any good water. So okay, let me just explain from the beginning. Summer camp. It was a day camp you go to in the summer. Spend your time there. You know, have some fun, meet some people, chat with your friends. You have a sort of, a somewhat of a schedule to do certain things. And aquatics were special because we got more time in the water. And when it's hot out, you want to be in the water. It's the best place to be. Now, you did have to do like swim tests at the beginning of the year, and you essentially had to score like a 3 or a 4 out of like. I mean, it wasn't difficult to do. Essentially, there was 4 divisions of what you could be. By the way, it did happen to just be a beach. It's a really funny looking beach, but it was 4 divisions. Essentially, there was the kiddie pool and there was the regular pool. And if you scored a 1, you had to go to the you couldn't go past the baby section of the baby pool. If you scored a 2, you could go to any part of the baby pool. If you scored a 3, you could then also use the shallow end of the big pool. And if you scored a 4, you could use the whole pool. And I'm not sure whether you had to score a 3 or a 4 to be in aquatics, or simply when you were in aquatics you needed 3 or 4 to do tubing, because that was another thing our group did, was we did tubing. And tubing is fun. It's a lot of fun. I was really good at it. But aquatics were great. We had a mascot, and I know you're thinking, what mascot does the water group had? You're absolutely right. It was a raccoon. Ferguson, great. We had more than one, but the first like idol was Ferguson. He was great. It was a picture of a raccoon posing, but I mean, he looked good when he did it. We can't deny that. Uh, the the second mascot that I knew was Bubba Frank. He was a kite of a shark, or my bad, a kite made in the shape of Bubba Frank, who was a shark, of course. And I don't know. I think he just sat in the lockbox most of the time. And then there was a bunch of random stuff would just get put as mascots on occasion. One of the counselors brought in a couple of lawn flamingos. They were fun. They were sort of honorary third and fourth mascot. I'm sure there were plenty more that I just can't remember, but the main one was Ferguson. He was the main one. Bubba Frank was also there. Can't forget those two. But raccoons are cool. You've ever seen a raccoon? in real life or on the internet. Very cool creatures. But, you know, the aquatics, we did a lot of fun things. Tubing was a specialty. Only the aquatics got tubing. That was fun. Uh, and the aquatics, getting to tube meant that you would get like your partner for the tube rides, and you would go out there, and we go on the big inflatable tube, and we get dragged behind the motorboat. And I mean, it's a lot of fun. If you've never done it, I recommend at some point you try it because it's extraordinarily fun. Eventually, you hold on for dear life, and then first time I went out, very easy story. I was very new to this group. My parents had lied about my age because I have a summer birthday. Okay, so in the middle of July. But aquatics had an age minimum of 8 years old, and I was 7, which means I would have had to spend the first semester and a bit into the second semester. I wouldn't be able to go into aquatics. My sister had been jumping between aquatics and Circle Y, which was the horse people. Apparently, also the rival. Well, not apparently, the rivals. And so every other semester, my sister would trade back and forth between the horse riding and the water people. They were rivals, so she was constantly a traitor. Apparently, Circle Y never called her a traitor, but she was. But she would come back, so we'd forgive. Aren't I supposed to find dolphins under here that are just supposed to make you swim at a million miles per hour? Anyways, first time I went tubing, I was new. I was 7 because my mom realized that I wanted to be in aquatics sooner, and I didn't want to spend more time with the little kids. I was so mature. And so my mother realized she can do something really easy. She just writes in my birth date as May, which was a few months earlier. I mean, you cannot look at a child and tell that they're the month of their birth by a couple of months when they're like 7 to 8. When they if a child is 2 weeks away from being 8 years old, you're not going to look at him and go, "Oh, he's clearly 7, almost 8," versus, "Oh, he's been 8 for like 2 months." So anyways, I joined when I was 7. A little rebel, but that's exactly why I would fit in aquatics. We'll get to that part of the story. But I was out there tubing, and the first guy I threw me with is, I don't think he was even a CIT yet. I think he might have just been a member of the aquatics when I joined. I think his name was James, but I did not know him as James. I knew him as Toast. Now, Toast, absolute Giga Chad. I mean, if you can think of the Giga Chad meme, that was him for sure. Like, exact image. So just imagine that. And there I am. I'm 7. I look like, I am like 6 foot tall as a 7-year-old, but 7 nonetheless. And he gets thrown into the tube with me, and he teaches me a technique I would remember the rest of my days, which is the cross arm technique. So, because I'm smaller than him, he put his arm. He normally, I thought you just grab the 2 rings in front of you. The reason I stopped moving was because I demonstrated that with my hands that you can't see. I talk with my hands, which makes this very difficult. You grab onto the 2, there's these, essentially 6 at the front of these handholds that you can grab onto. And so I grew. We're going to kill this guy. There we go. Good job, dogs. You grab onto your handhelds, and he goes, no, don't hold on to the 2 in front of you. Hold on to this one in front of me. I'll hold on to that one. My arm goes over your arm. So there I am. I'm 7. First time tubing ever. And I'm getting whipped around. Because tubes also whip around more if you have more weight to the tube. And I've already described he is the Giga Chad meme. So he's like 7 feet tall. So his arm's over mine, and we're whipping around, and this is beyond anything I am normally capable of ascending. So my hand slips, but he pushes down his arm, which tells me to grab on, and I can't. So this monster reaches down while his hand is pressing on mine, grabs my hand, and pulls me back up as my hand disconnects on the other side, and I'm just going to fall. Let me get this straight. I was 7. I was a chubby little 7-year-old. And this guy grabs on and just pulls me up. A core memory, by the way. That's how you know it's real. Core memory. First time tubing. And I mean, from that day on, I mean, that was a hero. Toast. Hero. He's not Disguised Toast on YouTube. Very different person. Oh, foxes. That's cool. Forgot they added those to this game. Yeah, no, but I would go on to be renowned for my tubing experience. Because I would grow bigger. You're not gonna believe that part. From 7 onwards, I became larger. My weight increased, and I was still chubby the whole time. And so I would end up going on tube rides, and I had different partners throughout my tubing lifetime. None of them with that funny of names. But I would just, tube. And I would get repeatedly the Uber Tuber Award. To the point where it became, if the counselor who I was under when it came to the end of the semester for award ceremony didn't know what to give me, would just default to the Uber Tuber Award. I remember my very last semester, I didn't even have any real good tubing rides that time, and I was a little resentful because I got the Uber Tuber Award. But I mean, now I think back and I'm thinking just, damn, I would give anything for just another 2 weeks with those old friends of mine, that camp. Because damn, if that wasn't some of the best days of my life. No, but there was more than just tubing. You see, aquatics was a way of life that would rub off on me. So I was a fun child, full of optimism, hope, and arrogance. That I've lost none of those 3 traits. I guess I'm not young. No, I'm still a young man. I'm not a baby anymore, but I'm a young man. And so, I would hang out with them, and remember, I met these people when I was 7. I would know these people until I was like, I don't know, I think I lived the camp like 15. So for a long time, these people would essentially be, every summer, these are the people I would talk to, meet. These are the people I knew. Huh, that's a rare structure, isn't it? Oh, we'll just screenshot the coordinate, and we're not going to approach. Well, maybe there's a golden apple in there. There's also mobs that can fly through walls and do like 3 hearts of damage to me in full iron, I think. So they're not going to approach the building. And they would form much of my opinions. Now, there's a spider in these woods. He's going to jump me. Oh, shit. I forgot I could hit my dogs with the sweeping attack. Come on, give me string. Hallelujah. We should not go through the dark forest. As I was saying, formative years. I didn't have much of a personality. I was just some giddy old kid. And that was it. That was my experiences. And so I would reach a point. Here, you guys. I hit you. That's my bad. There. Make another child. I also hit you. There, have some food. Welcome to the team. I would learn essentially who I am at that camp because, between the ages of 8 and 15, you don't know who you are. If you do before you're 8, I mean, congrats, I guess. Somebody has to have learned who they are at such a early age, I suppose. I didn't. I wasn't so advanced. And so a lot of my personality was shaped by the people I would meet there. And you see, the aquatics had a little bit of a rebellious streak to them. So at 8 years old, I became a rebel. Well, to an extent. So there was a camp. There was an overnight camp. I think it was a Jewish overnight camp, if I recall correctly. that was just down the ways of Camp Yamika. So what would aquatics would do occasionally, very occasionally, is they would sneak over there, and then the moment we get caught, apparently we would just sprint back. Oh no, I don't think I ever got that far into their territory to really see what was happening. But it was for me as a youngster. It was about being one of the members of the team. It had nothing to do with actually what the hell we were doing. I didn't really care about going to that camp. It was just like funny to me, I guess. I guess it was more so fun to just be part of the team that was doing it. I remember not apparently. I remember once aquatics were going on over there, and we saw another group, and we were lying low because we thought it was a group of the people from that camp. And then we learned that it was actually another group from the same camp that had also been doing the same thing. And that was a good time. I guess we did go into their territory because we were on their trails with signs for things in their camp, because it definitely wasn't our camp anymore, I'll tell you that. But that was one thing we did. I remember once we crashed a party, but as a as a kid, I had no clue what crashing a party meant. So it was essentially we just volunteered to cater some party between two of the groups, and then we just joined in. And so there I was, as a kid, we were in the party now, and we were just supposed to stop catering to these groups and just join the party. And I just kept going like, "What now?" To one of the counselors, and he was like, That's it, we've done it." Because to me, I thought it was going to be something like, much more advanced than just showing up to a party we weren't invited to. Because if you think about it, we were sort of invited. Well, I guess we were catering, we weren't invited to it. So yeah, we crashed a party. But I also couldn't stand loud music. Now I'm much better at that, but I was a child with sensitive ears. Now I have tinnitus, like any good adult does after having a teenage year. Very mild and very occasional. And so I actually ended up just having to exit outside. I remember a few people joined me just out on the porch outside. The porch was our domain. They were having their party in the building right next to the porch, which was not our turf. We had the porch. That was our thing. I'm surprised I haven't seen any structures while just looking around. I'm pretty sure I've been in biomes that can spawn structures. But the porch was our turf, and I would just hang out there while the rest of the party would go on. I remember we also threw our own sort of dance parties, I guess, but again, the music was a little too loud for me, which is really unfortunate because the me now really wishes that I participated more in this. Oh, a shipwreck. That could have gold in it. That could have a map to treasure, and treasure could include gold. But one of the big things that the camp did, this wasn't unique to our group, the camp did, was they would have these lip syncing dance things where essentially your group would come up with a dance to do to a song. And the aquatics took it seriously. And for good reason. I think we won like all the time. Not literally all the time. We've had some rough patches, but majority of the time we definitely won. I'm not sure if anybody actually ever got announced the winner, but a lot of the times it went to the kids who just did like cute little choreographed events. Like I remember once they did Potter Puppet Pals, the pipe bomb one. There's no way a single one of those kids knew what a pipe bomb was. Well, I guess no. Video games are big enough. I'm sure some of those kids knew what a pipe bomb was. But the very first song that was done while I was there, almost the entire time I was there, I had the same unit head. Suspicious stew. It could probably poison me. But the very first time I was I participated in one of these was during the song Every Time We Touch by Cascada. And that song still is embedded within my... Not just the song, the fucking dance. If I hear the song Every Time We Touch by Cascada, I still just think of the fucking dance. Ah, there we go. A diamond. What the hell are these? Smithing templates? I need to get out of here before I drown. We got ourselves our first diamond, ladies and gentlemen. While talking about Cascadas Every Time We Touch, speaking of a diamond, Coast armor trim? What? I don't think I've ever heard about this stuff, man. Also, no treasure map. Unfortunate. Maybe I missed a chunk. But Cascadas Every Time We Touch. Embedded into my mind. Every lyric, every dance move. Well, not every dance move. There's certain parts of it I forgot, but I remember a lot of it. Is this air? Oh, this is air. Here's the treasure map. And it is just ingrained in my mind. Where am I on this map? I mean, the treasure must be... I mean, this is just this part of the coast, right? So it's just up there. But it was Cascadas Every Time We Touch. That was the first song we did there. We did the dance for it. And I'm pretty sure it was an Aquatics favorite. Because when we would do future dance party-like things, we would like redo all of the dances from previous years. And when I was older, I then knew some of them, so I was able to participate. Perfect use for this first diamond. And it was actually immensely fun to do this dance. And they would essentially introduce me to... Here, I'm going to need to make sure these guys don't jump into whatever pit I dig and cause themselves harm. And that's when I would learn a lot of my early music taste would be developed by... I mean, a lot of people understand that your early music taste is decided by, you know, like your parents. What do they listen to? Oftentimes that what isn't discussed is, hey, did you have teenage friends who decided the music around you? Well, I guess that's... No, that's technically not true, because people have, like, older siblings who would end up deciding their music taste. And so, you know, but here I had these people essentially deciding my taste in music to be Cascadas Every Time We Touch. TikTok by Kesha, which is still what I discussed last episode, Kesha being the GOAT. There's another reason. We Are Who We Are was one of them that was done. One of the funniest ones that I never actually ended up participating in was we were prepping to do Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And now to prep for Girls Just Want to Have Fun, the unit head who set everything up, Sonny, I know his real name, but we're just going to go with Sonny because that's what I called him all the time. That's what everybody called him. And we would end up doing Girls Just Want to Have Fun. But there's a trick with Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Was that everybody was to dress like a girl. You know, female clothing. And we had done something similar for Every Time We Touch, except we just dressed more ridiculously, I guess. I'm going to try disabling my texture packs to give that gives me a better view, maybe shows me where I am, because it's not like my texture pack's doing anything besides overriding a few textures that don't matter. Let's see. I don't know, certain things feel a little clunkier, but I guess the UI is correct now. Oh yeah, now I have an X on the map. So I know where to dig. Oh, underwater here. Fun. But those were the types of songs that I would then listen to in my formative years. So they become the songs I knew. I enjoy those songs. Whether it's for nostalgic purposes or whether they're just genuinely good songs, which they are, I like those songs. I enjoy listening to them. I listen to them from time to time. But girls just want to have fun. We were supposed to all dress in different clothing. We are. We dressed up a little flamboyantly. But I ended up not being able to be there for the dance. The dance is out at the last few days. And I ended up getting... So we were doing hairspray as well. So there's like those cheap plasticky hairsprays that quickly just put in your hair, and that just decides like, yeah, now my hair is just highlighter yellow. So that's what we ended up. Oh, my crafting table was right there, huh? We ended up using some of that stuff. Now, I had used some and gotten it in my hair, or in my ear. And so what ended up happening was I got some of this gunk in my ear, and now that it was in my ear, I had like what I thought was just an ear infection, which happened from time to time because I'm spending a lot of time in the water. Ah, there's her chest. Gold! 11 gold. Wait 1 second, I have to pause real quick. I'll continue the story in a moment. For you, no time has passed. For me, much has transpired. But where was I? I believe I was talking about the hair dye in my ear. So, I would actually end up not going to camp for like the last 3 weeks of that session. The session's only 2 weeks long. So it was actually really unfortunate because I enjoyed my time at that camp. As I've just pointed out, I wish I spent more time at that camp than I did. But we had gone to on vacation with my family, and so there we were in Florida, and we were, enjoying ourselves. We were on vacation, except for me. I wasn't enjoying myself really day one in that hotel room because my ear hurt like crazy. And so, while everybody else was asleep, I pulled off the thing you're never supposed to do. I think I was going this way because I saw the shipwreck and then I thought, yeah. I did the thing you're never supposed to... this is just an interaction. I did the thing you're never supposed to do. Stuck a Q-tip in my ear. And, I was a young idiot at the time, as many children are. I didn't know you weren't supposed to stick Q-tips in your ear. I stuck a Q-tip in my ear. Q-tip was for cleaning ears. Is that a jungle tree? We could get melons? I have glistening melons, but for the future of my prosperity? For infinite healing? Melons? But I had stuck a Q-tip in my ear, and I remember hearing this little, like, bubbling, like a bubbling pop sound. And then I just felt this warm liquid oozing down my ear and relief. And sure enough, I had popped a little thin, like, plasticky layer of the hair dye that had created this bubble that was trapping some liquid on the inside of my ear set. And so now that it was popped, washed out when my mom woke up, she told me, like, don't put Q-tips in your hair, but let's clean that out now. I had a very good time, but I've never cross-dressed because of that. Now, two final aquatic stories to tell. Jungle's burning. One before the end, we must discuss the penultimate thing that separated aquatics from the rest, and that was the animal game. And the animal game was a very simple game where you would just... It was one of those sort of like... How best describe it? It was played with your hands in a group. And you had to create a beat by essentially slapping your lap twice and then clapping with a beat of like over and over again. And you'd keep that rhythm. Everybody would synchronize the rhythm, and then you'd start going. Now, the gimmick of the game is that every person had a unique animal sign. Now, there was probably a shark before me, and there was probably a shark after me. But for the time I was there, I was the shark. And so with my hands, I had a shark symbol that was just, the two hands above your head making what you would assume a shark sign to be. And I mean, that was my sign. So the way the game was played is that replacing one of the claps, let's say it was my turn, I would replace the clap with my sign, my own sign. And then I would, on replacing the next clap of the beat, I would replace it with one of my opponent's signs. And then rinse and repeat. As soon as the next sign would happen. So I do my sign, I do somebody else's sign. Let's go with my friend Joey. He had the narwhal. One arm stuck out and his head goes sideways. So I would do my sign, then I would do the narwhal sign. Then the next clap, Joey would have to do his sign, the narwhal. And then he could do my sign again, shark, or he could do a different sign, somebody else's. And this would rinse and repeat until somebody made a mistake. They either did somebody else's sign when they should have done their own, they missed the beat, it was their turn and they missed it. Whatever had happened, you would get eliminated. And the circle would shrink until there were less and less people. Now, it went from anything of the pace also increased over time. And that was how difficulty scaled. Because you would start off with but at the end it would be, so it's much harder to concentrate, but there's also less signs to do. You just got to make sure you do it. I haven't seen any melons yet. I'm pretty sure they only spawn on jungle edges, which is why I've been walking around the perimeter. But, oh, no, I'm wrong. I see a melon right there in the center. But it was an amazingly fun game. I'm not sure if everybody thought about it the same way I did. I had a blast playing the animal game. And I was a shark. You didn't need to be a water sign. Shark and narwhal were examples, but 12 melons should be enough. I only need enough to grow. And I already have some glistening melons, so I can get healing as soon as I hit the nether. Do I just skip the golden phase of the game, the golden apple phase, just rush the nether? I could. I think I need a little more equipment first. In fact, I should probably craft that bow and arrow. But the animal game, tons of fun. And as I mentioned, I was a shark. I was always the shark. There's never anything but the shark. I don't mean to sound so aggressive. I mean, I meant to, but it was jokingly. But, I mean, just boatloads of fun to play. You would face off against other people. I remember my best bout. I mean, I won a few times. So my best bout was first place. But you know how, like, a championship, like somebody who gets fourth place at the World Championships is more impressive than just like somebody who is like the best of their friend group. So, obviously, the longer you had been in aquatics, the better at the animal game you were because you played it more. Now, that's not dumb, but that's a room portal, I think. It's a structure. So, at one point, I had gotten pretty good at this game. And at one point, I was against Sonny, who I already mentioned was the unit head the entire time I was there. He was a counselor before he was the unit head. And Ick. Ick was much older than me. Yes, his name was Ick. And Ick was the crab. And Sonny was the hare. And the way he did hare was he had like these two little... He used like his two index fingers on the sides of his head, Shark was my hands put together like a praying one on the top of my head, and then Ick's crabs, as you can imagine, the crab is the two claws to the side. He's essentially made like the C shapes of his hands. The way you think of doing it. There's gold. Finally. Two hoes, one with efficiency 5. But essentially, Ick and Sunny were pretty close, so they decided to team up on me. And I did end up losing. But I think I ended up getting second place in that trio because one of them essentially sacrificed the other, where they had realized that I was less of a threat to them. I think Ick sacrificed Sunny. I had 11 gold ingots and was low on HP, and I didn't craft an extra golden apple. Yeah, let's fix that. But I think Ick had done Sunny's sign while they were both in agreement to just do my sign. Make sure you only do one at a time because you want to maximize that regeneration. And it was hilarious because I mean, Sunny missed his mark. I then lost to Ick anyways, but you know, the mind game. There we go. That's a reasonable amount of HP. I'm not going to use this dynamite effect. Let's get rid of that before I cause a problem. But that was one of the best bets because I was holding my own against Ick and Sunny, who were far better at the game, this game than I was. And so I felt very proud of myself. Now, let's talk about some other notable signs real quick. So we had the hare, we had Ick's sign, which was the crab. Apparently, before my time, I think I saw it because whoever it was came back to the camp. But I don't remember whose it was. But there was a creepy kitten, which was a funny one. The most famous, of course, was the T-Rex, but the T-Rex was a little funky. But it was still funny. It was done by like the scrunching of the arms, but it was very funny one to see. So that one was dubbed the Amy Rex because it was Amy's sign. And I'm sure there was so many more I can't remember. But the ones worth remembering, there's the temple. Now, Mesa Bomb's also pretty good. Apparently, abandoned mine shafts there come with extra gold. So if I can see a surface level abandoned mine shaft, I might be able to get myself to full HP. And that's if this temple doesn't have plenty of gold waiting for me inside of it. But it was truly fantastic, that game. And I can still remember some of the signs. Again, everything looks better in your head than when you're there. And I'm a hopeless nostalgic. I mean, I still have my awards from way back in that time period plastered to my whiteboard. So, you know, I'm going to tell my dogs to sit before one of them activates that pressure plate. Yeah, no, I loved my time at the camp. I loved it back then, and I have fond memories of it now. Which, I mean, is the ideal past, right? You had fun, and you remember it fondly. Now, some shit happened towards the end of my time at that camp. I think apparently there was some resentment held towards the aquatics for their rebellious spirit by some of the staff, I think. Because, like, or whether it was resentment or I don't know what. But, hey, a golden apple. I'm going to eat that immediately and get it a pretty looking amount of HP. Grab that saddle, because saddles are fun. But essentially, like when Toast became a CIT, he wasn't a CIT in aquatics, despite the fact that he was always an aquatic. He got put with the little kids and I mean, it wasn't a good time. It was pretty upsetting. Um, Loyalty 2, we do not need that. Do not need spider eyes. I don't know what we're going to do with gunpowder, so I think I'm good with what I got. But it was not for the best. I remember Amy, she became an LIT. She was great with the aquatics. And then I guess she said like one swear as as like an older teenager. Said a single swear. And then they just booted her. She was no longer allowed to be as a counselor at the camp. Which she was an LIT into an aquatics counselor. And I mean, I was in her group like once or twice, and she was probably one of the best counselors I've ever had. It was amazing. But because she was the funny combination of camp spirit mixed with like, I don't know, I guess like a little bit of angsty teen. It's hard to remember exactly because Starry Vision, but she definitely had a lot of camp spirit. Like the Aquatics did not sing a lot of camp songs. They were the rebels. They don't sing camp songs. And Amy would have us like patrol around just screaming the camp songs. And she played all those fun little like within your group, like everybody go hide. Whenever she says like a keyword wherever we are. She was honestly like one of the greatest counselors you could have, and then they booted her because she said like one swear once, which is absolutely ridiculous. A teenager made a mistake, they get punished immensely for it. And it's not even like the other counselors in, it's just somebody reported her, and I guess somebody had a vendetta against her. It was so unfortunate. But I had a lot of fun at that camp. There was a color week once where we did Harry Potter groups. I was in the winning team. I do not remember what house we were. I think we were probably Gryffindor because I was with a lot of the younger kids. But we had the Harry Potter nerds, and I watched all the movies, so I was pretty cracked at it. I still have a few of the things from. So, Sunny actually made like custom Horcruxes, Horcruxi, for that, and I mean I still have them. I have this little like silver cauldron, like a handheld silver cauldron. There's some gold within easy mining distance. And I still have that. I have the rope that was used during one of the. There must be an abandoned mine shaft here. That's the only way I can explain all this gold. Either that or just it's a normal vein, I guess. But there was also like a skull that like one of those plaster painted skulls. Somebody else got that one. I did not get that one myself. It was a wonderful looking cave. What else existed? Oh right, my favorite. I have a puzzle that was there. Essentially, we were doing a scavenger hunt with all the Horcruxes, and we won the scavenger hunt. We had the fastest time. I think one of the group members cheated a little bit because we apparently had to sort all the puzzle pieces first. But somebody had figured out what essentially the location of the puzzle without figuring out the rest of the puzzle. I have that puzzle still. We were allowed to take it home or cherish it as a memory. But the best Horcrux, without question, Sunny. I'm not sure if he had somebody else make it or he made. I'm pretty sure he made it. He definitely had the skills to pay the bills. But there was a pipe cleaner Regina Ravenclaw diadem, and it sits there poised on top of my books in my bookshelf, just sitting right there. Hey, Desert Village. Just sitting there, and it is. I mean, it's truly kind of sick. Like it has like spaces in it. It's very well used of color. I keep it as straight as I can. It's probably covered in a thin layer of dust now, or maybe even a thick layer of dust. I never touch it, but I mean, it's just amazing, and that's my favorite one. It's I put it on display. But the final, there's a lot of memories I have from this camp. But the final memory I'll leave with as I enter this village is the final session I was at, or the second to final set, or close to the end. It might have been sooner than my final session because I spent a couple sessions with Ginger. Okay, my bad. Another story. What the hell? Oh, they got camels? Yo! Dude, you want an apple, my dude? Wait, I can just. He's already tamed. And I can just. This dude's coming with me. I don't care that he's like half my speed. This dude's sick. Can I put a chest on him like a donkey? Holy, I was about to. So, once we were all chilling by the pool. No, you can't. But he just sits down on his own, which is convenient. Here, you want a chest? It's yours, my friend. It's for you. But we were once just chilling by the pool. And Aquatic spent a lot of time by the pool. That's what we did. How's your jump, pal? Wait, he doesn't jump. He charges forward? Yo, this dude's sick. And we were chilling by the pool, and Ginger was coming by to grab somebody for tubing. Because he was now the unit head. He drove the motorboat that we tubed with. And he swung by. It was coming by the pool to pick up somebody. I don't know if it was me or somebody else. It was like two aquatics groups at the pool, so could have been a lot of people. And as he was swinging by, beautiful coral reef. I'm distracted by everything in Minecraft while telling the story. We all just look over because we see Ginger. We're all just making conversation. He's looking into the pool area, and there are, by the way, 2 lifeguards on duty. Ginger, all the aquatics counselors were lifeguards. That was another thing. We spent so much time by the water that all the aquatics, they were, CPR certified. They had all the qualifications of lifeguards. I believe they all had to be LITs, lifeguards in training. And lifeguards did not like the aquatics because we spent a lot of time being little douchebags in the water. But Ginger comes by. He quickly sprints into the pool area. He quickly throws his phone out of his pocket and just leaps into the water, shoes on, and pulls out a kid who had been drowning. Saves the kid. He just saved a kid's life in front of everybody. 2 lifeguards on duty watching the pool. Neither of them noticed. Ginger sees it while talking with us through the fence gate. Sprints in, jumps in. Saves a kid's life. So I was definitely there while Ginger was unit head because that happened. And I mean, amazing stuff. He saved the kid's life. But when Sonny was leaving, he held this award ceremony, a special award ceremony, for people who had been there for 3 years or longer under him. I had been there for like 7 or 8 years at that point. And so 2 things need to be mentioned. One, there's a lot of awards to be given out to a lot of people in this event, but a lot of people were there much longer than I was. And 2, the greatest award you can get is called the Tispequin Warrior. And the reason for that is that was the name of the boat. And to be fair, it's a pretty good award name to be known as the Tispequin Warrior. Alright, the camel's head going to full up is how you know he's ready to boost speeds. But the Tispequin Warrior was essentially if you embodied everything it meant to be an aquatic. Now, I want to make a quick apology to somebody who will never see this video, I'm sure. But Amy, if you ever see this video, I'm sorry. I apparently lied to you. The one time I told you that I had gone to all the sessions and never gotten the Discipline Warrior. Where are you headed? Sit down, my guy. It's a hot. So this guy just sit. He'll sit down eventually, I'm sure. Oh shit! I left my dog sitting by the other temple. Should have reminded me, guy. Anyways, um, there you go, sitting. Um, Amy, I'm sorry. I told you I'd never gotten the Tispaquin, despite the fact that I'd been there for many, many years and participated in all 4 sessions and done all the sleepovers and all that. It was true I had, but I did have a Tispaquin warrior. And I learned that much later because my parents were cleaning out a lot of papers and we were burning a lot of papers that we weren't going to use on this little like fire. And we were going through old papers I had. And I was just dumping old papers I had from school and stuff and didn't realize some of my awards were mixed in there until I saw some of the colored papers being thrown into the fire. I was distraught by the fact that my papers were getting thrown in by my sister. She didn't realize that they were awards. She thought I was fine with throwing them into the fire because I put them in the fire pit on me. But I had salvaged the rest of them. Now I only know where 2 of them are because I keep them on my whiteboard. And one of them is from Zach. And he did give me a Tispaquin warrior, and there's a small message on the back. And the problem with the message on the back is he says, I'm still trying to get through those videos I recommended. I have no clue what videos I recommended him. I have no recollection of whatever videos that I had apparently recommended this man. We don't need these bones. Another settlement. Frostwalker, why not like this? Fire aspect 1, it's not going to do much good. Golden apple, that's extremely valuable. I have no clue what he's talking about. And still, I look back at the message sometime thinking maybe it'll click to me. It is not. I have no idea what he's talking about at all. I'm going to collect the bones, actually. I can get more dogs. But, you know, it's just... I do have a Tispaquin warrior, so I apologize for lying, telling you I didn't, because I do. Though I don't think you gave me a Tispaquin warrior anyways, Amy, so I don't think my lying ended up mattering. Where's the camel going? And so, you know, I do have a Tispaquin warrior, the ultimate show of being an aquatic, but at the award ceremony, I mentioned that I got the Uber Tuber a lot. It was no surprise to me when Sonny gave me an Uber Tuber award, but he did not just give me the Uber Tuber award. He gave me the Tubular Uber Tuber award, and that, my friends, is worth billions of dollars to me. If I could either choose between keeping that award or I had to pay $1 million to keep that award, I'd take out as many loans as it'd take. I'd commit fraud to the greatest extent because I'm keeping that award forever. It has an extremely heartfelt message on the back that I read from time to time. Beautiful message. I'm going to march my way back over to my dogs because I did not mean to leave them behind. But I am going to end this video here with those stories all being told. Thank you for just sitting here listening to me reminisce about my past. Hopefully you had some entertainment. It wasn't just me boring you. And hey, perhaps one day I'll become superstar fame. Somebody's going to watch back this video and go, hey, yo, I think I heard about the aquatic. Here, let me throw out some more names. Oh, we had Butters. I remember you cheating at King of the Tube. Toast, I of course remember you. You were already brought up. Boomhauer. Best last name I've ever heard to this day. TJ, I called you Turtle Jerky. I've somewhat adopted your sense of humor, so the fact that I didn't get it when I was a kid is kind of funny now to me. Yeah, I definitely called you Turtle Jerky. Or was that a different TJ called Turtle Jerky? Eh. There was a TJ for sure. M. There was an Ick and an M. Their names were Nick and Tim, I believe, but I always called them Ick and M because that's what they were known to for me. I'm also entirely lost. Those dogs are gone. I have no clue which direction I came from. Oh, but there's an abandoned mine shaft, which means gold. So, if I'm ever super famous and you're watching this video, I don't even have to be famous. If you're watching this video right now and you have heard of this summer camp before, it's in Massachusetts, by the way. So, you have friends from Massachusetts, just go, hey, have you ever heard of this before? And just spread the word. Find as many of them as you can. Because I am in contact with one person at most on occasion. Yeah. On occasion, I speak to Joe. Oh, there's the village. There's the abandoned mine shaft. All right. Because I would love to get in contact with some of those old aquatics people, see where they're at. And I truly do hope they're all doing well. Anyways, I gotta find my dogs and I gotta do this abandoned mine shaft to get some gold. So, and I've been ranting for probably about an hour now. So I'm gonna leave off, grab some water, take a quick break, and but for you, the video is over.